what's up? It's your boy, Dracar Noir, and today we're talking about, I don't really know. I wanted to go in talking about Game of Thrones, and I felt like, shout out to my lovely girlfriend and old friend Jerry. Shout out to you two for pretty much both of you shitting on me about not knowing, not deliberating on something that I don't know much about. I have not finished all of Game of Thrones. I've seen the finale. I do not understand it, but it's the concept that I have that where some of those characters have, spoilers by the way, where some of those characters have started in their journey when the show started, they are very far off from where they were now, as far as personality, even some of them are back to where they were when they started. A lot of it I don't understand on that concept of, the concept of I don't know enough about it, and I don't know what exactly they have gone through as far as that, which is why I wanted to stay away from it. My concept is that I don't understand that two of my favorite characters have gone kind of like another way. I mean, as far as Jon Snow, he has pretty much been the same. I was in the assumption in the end-all of Game of Thrones that when it came to the throne, that Daenerys would have it, and it wouldn't be a place of, the concept of breaking the wheel as Tyrion, who is now, I guess, my top favorite character, because he seems like he hasn't changed much since I saw him last. It's almost as if friends that I haven't seen since season 4. It's the concept of knowing these characters have changed, but it hasn't really. I don't see why they could go that way. I mean, I know characters change, but it's the concept of thinking that the character that you want to be good the whole time could change to be the person that is the problem eventually. And a lot of things that I had issues with was, and I'm not I'm not one of those people who signed a petition to have them redo it. My concept is that I was a little bit disappointed in how I thought it was going to go in the end. I felt as if, and I'm sure some people have felt this way, that the Night King would have been the main threat. I feel like you make this big deal about winter coming, even the main, Ned Stark said it in the beginning, the first episode, winter is coming, and it's the concept of the petty squabbles of the fucking throne weren't that big of a deal because of this threat that was coming. And I thought it was all going to be a thing of banding together and saving the day. But then he goes out, second, third episode? And the petty squabbles just go back to normal. It's really kind of heartbreaking, because I thought it was going to go better. But as I've seen a lot of stuff on it, I felt like this show is not showing you that people are good. This is showing you that people are pieces of shit. I think that's the concept that they're trying to get at, is that people are shit. And with all the things that you see in the Red Wedding, the what's the other one? The Purple Wedding or something like that. All the different weddings and the awful things that have happened to these characters. It's the concept of people are always going to be shit. And it's a bleak outlook on the show and life in general, but it's something that kind of disappoints me in the way of that the show seemed very fun to be like, it was kind of like that the whole time they went in thinking, well, people are always going to be a piece of shit. That's the ongoing theme we're going with, which is fine. I mean, the TV shows that you make are the concepts of, you can play out people to be good and save the day, but I mean, that's maybe, and I've talked about this a lot, not a lot, but with my girlfriend about, I've always had the hero mentality of saving the day, just doing what is right for the sake of it, and just trying to be a helpful person. I guess this is not going to be a Game of Thrones. This is going to just be inner moral fiber of people's beings. I always want to be that person in that room that makes people, makes people light up, and not in the concept that they're happy to see me because I'm so great. I want them to be happy to see me because I make them feel better about themselves. I feel as if, without being a complete tool or being a complete, someone that people walk over, I think it's something that I want to be, as far as being a good person and just being there for people that need it and the people who actually deserve it. I mean, like Game of Thrones is people are shit. Not everyone's shit. I mean, there's people who've done bad things in their lives, and even I'm, guilty of ridiculing someone for it. I've done it with plenty of loved ones. There's plenty of people out there that I've treated like, like shit because of something they've done, and I don't think they deserve, redemption. And I mean, it's just, I think my moral compass is a little bit more righteous and, different. I mean, when it came to the four of us gang, the Waffletown gang, I always thought of myself as Cap because I was the one doing what was right because it was right. Of course, AJ being Hulk, Dan being Thor because he's not from this world, and Bones being kind of like a Tony Stark. I'll give him that. I think it's that concept of the whole as a whole, Captain America, and we'll get into Endgame. I really want to do this video on Endgame. A lot of shit has gone on in my life where I can't actually focus on that right now, and I will eventually bring it out. There's always time to do it. I mean, the more time, the better. I mean, people have seen it. People can really, appreciate it more. I did want to still do a demo. Essentially, I think I just want to talk about me right now because this is therapeutic for me, and this is why I do it. People don't understand why I just complain about stuff. It's because it makes me feel better. I guess, it's just that concept of knowing that people are out there listening, I guess, and I get comments from Kibbles, and I get comments from Bones, and I appreciate those because those are the stuff where it makes it seem like you guys, people are listening and people are enjoying it. And I got, one from someone who, that I didn't expect was actually, paying attention to me, and it really kind of took me by surprise to make me feel like I was doing something that was worth it. And it's that concept of I always have been that morally right person. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it was whether I grew up with superheroes like Spider-Man and, grew up with, different things that made me feel like I had to be that person that was that light in the darkness, as fucking douchey as that sounds. It's the concept that I like being that person who gives hope. Because hope is not something that is just, all around you. Life is not full of hope. You gotta find it. And I think it's important to have hope. I think the main concept of what I'm trying to get at is I can't see myself ending this without, having to forcefully end this. Till someone is over my dead body telling me this is over, this is done. I don't think I'll ever stop trying to create things. Even if it's, I want to get into custom pops and showing you guys all the pops I have. I wanted to restart Funko Friday that I've done on Instagram. If you haven't followed me on there, it's the concept of that I want to do so much for people to, even if they, not even take a full focus on me, to at least see me as someone who can give hope. And I think that's important. And I think that's what upset me about Game of Thrones. Bringing it back. It upset me about Game of Thrones because that show did not show hope. And it's something that I really rely on a lot. Jon Snow ends up going back to where I started out for him. He went right back to Castle Black and just ended up doing what he was doing. And that was just... It was just, honestly, you could cut out those whole seasons. It's like you never kind of got to that point. I mean, I know the Battle of the Bastards is important, and I know a lot of the stuff with him and Daenerys are important, but honestly, to me, it's like a big time jump, and he just is in the same spot. Dany, I thought, was going to be the king at the queen at the end. I thought that was what we're aiming towards, and I guess she is. And Cersei just should have died better. She should have just died better. There should have been more redemption for Jaime. Why go through this whole concept of Jaime becoming a better person when you just, at least show tiny speckles of him being like his brother, who is now my favorite character because the two favorite of mine were Jon Snow and Daenerys, and now they really have become nothing. It's just that concept of hope. And I hope, play on words, pun intended, that you guys see that the same way I do. And I mean, if you don't, that's fine. There's a lot of people who have had shit happen to them where they don't feel like there's much to be hopeful for. Especially now, I'm dealing with what people would say was a small squabble that I'm dealing with, but it's a lot to me. And again, I know it's so vague, and I'm not dying, I'm not doing anything, I'm not in some kind of legal battle with anyone. I wasn't, attacked or in a lawsuit or anything like that. It's just something that has drained me over the past 2 weeks. And I want to have it finished and over with so I can share it and know that it's over. When I make the episode on it, it'll be over. And even now, I think when I build it up to this much, it's going to be nothing to people when I, send it out there and say, hey, this is what I was dealing with. And it was just exhausting. I don't know. It's just hope. That's what this, in my opinion, is about. Game of Thrones, but hope. And I appreciate you guys for listening. As always, if you have not subscribed, please do. It does help me greatly. I'm not to the point of being able to be monetized and making this a fun thing to do and get money for it, which is not my main goal. Like I said, it's to create, and I think that's my main goal is just to create, and any subscribers would be great, and I appreciate that. Again, I'm going to be doing an endgame video eventually. There's a lot more time that's going into it. I want to really draw out a script for it and how I approach this whole, Avengers MCU in general. And I want to do a demo. And if no one knows what a demo is, it's kind of like a reel of what you can do as far as like an auditioning for voice acting. You try to play out, certain voices you can do, and just do like a demo reel of that. So yeah, and of course, if anyone, before I even do that, wants to have me as a, voice project, stuff like that, involving, voice work, I'm cool with that. If you want to message me, all that stuff. I didn't really know what going into this, in my opinion, was going to be about, so I kind of just came from the heart, giggity. And I just, I want to just give you guys, just to know that I'm trying to take my time with this, and I think things are just in a rough patch right now, and once I think I get my shit together, it'll be a little bit better. If you followed me for a while on YouTube, I appreciate you. I know some people are just kind of like spam bots or whatever at this point. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Talking about generations, more importantly, old people. I have a new job now. No longer working for the job I worked for 9 years. I'm finally out.